Nigel's bike starts first kick. My foot hurts from starting Max and yours. Well, you got the golden wrench. Once again, thanks for everyone tuning in. Lots more to come from MXstore.com.au.
Hello.
Jena, Andy from Serco. How you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. What's going on?
Dude, I just got done watching Records to Checkers. Nice work.
Ah, thanks. Yeah, it was a good show, eh?
Great show, but I can't help but feel you got left out a little bit. The guys got all the prizes and you didn't get anything.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? I got stuck doing Nigel's dirty work.
I know. So I'm thinking you've got the little Yamaha 250. Why don't you bring it down to the Serco race shop and we'll give her a makeover?
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. When do you want me to come down?
Man, load up and shoot down here on Monday morning.
Epic. All right, can't wait. I'll see you there.
Awesome. See you then. Look forward to it. Cheers.
So I've been riding all weekend up at MX Farm at one of Gemma Wilson's ride day events with all the girls. Had an awesome time up there. And in the meantime, though, I've been extended an offer that's too good to refuse from the team up at Serco. They saw our Records to Checkers series and they think that they can do a better job, really. Well, they're going to show us how the pros do it. So they've offered to pimp out my YZ250 2018 model and show us what they can do there. My bike was like really dirty and I didn't have time to clean it. So luckily, my mate Nige owes me a favour. Now we're on our way up to Serco, check out their venue and see what they're all about. Andy!
Generator!
Good to see you.
Welcome to Serco Motorsport.
Awesome,
Good to see you, girl.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How exciting.
I know, I am very excited.
We saw your Records to Checkers series.
Yeah.
We love what you did.
Yeah.
So we heard you bought a 2018 YZ250, right?
Yeah. I just got secondhand, YZ250. She hasn't really had much love to her.
Right.
But
well, we want to change that.
Yeah.
We're going to give her the factory makeover.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning against Nathan Crawford's 2021 YZ250F race bike. Mm-hmm. We're going to get your sweet little YZ as close to a Serco factory bike as we can.
Yep.
Come over here, I'll show you what we're going to do. Cool, so what we've got is Paul over here. Paul is Nathan's mechanic. Paul's actually in the middle of an engine freshen up as we speak. And then you've got Ben over there that works for Jesse Dobson. Ben is doing a chassis makeover as well. So we're going to pull these two guys right off of what they're doing, parking our factory outfit for a couple of days, and we're going to give you the full treatment.
Yay. So, thanks, boys.
Let's get the patient out and see what we're working with.
Oh, yeah, perfect. All right, let's go. All right, here she is.
Look at this, Benny.
Beauty.
Some fresh love coming our way.
Get more horsepower. Slicker it is. We put a slick on so you get a more accurate reading and the tyre doesn't bounce on the dyno wheel. So usually on a normal race season we put the bike on the dyno before and after every round. So the dyno measures air fuel for one, so we can check how the engine's performing, and horsepower and torque. Really? So Here in the blue we've got Jena's bike, and the red line here we have one of Jesse's practice bikes. We'll just have a look at the two differences. The old engine was quite good from bottom to mid-range, but as you can see on the top it's nowhere near what we're running now. But overall it went pretty good. I was quite surprised. Yeah, it was good to get a base run of Jena's bike on the dyno. So now when we do the engine we can see a direct comparison. So now we're going to tear it down to complete frame.
All that's left is a frame. That literally took you guys half an hour or so?
Yeah.
Just strip that whole bike down just to this now.
Yeah, it's easy. Let's get into it. We can do things pretty quick.
Yeah. So that's how the professionals do it. I think it took our boys when they were doing their records to checkers a good day's worth of work there, pulling it all apart, but that's incredible. All right, Teasy, what are we doing here?
We're just pulling the motor down. Get it all down so we can get the crank out and get the new rod pushed into it and check out the gearbox and hopefully have it back together.
So, Benny, you stripped the bike down to just the frame.
Yep.
So tell me what you're going to do with it next.
So I'll take it next door to the workshop, and they've got a vapor blaster in there. We put it in there and give all the frame, all these hard spots to get to. The wet blaster is really good at getting in and cleaning all these tricky spots that we can't get to when the engine's in the bike. And we also check it over for any damage before we build the bike back up.
Awesome. So, do you want to show me where we do this?
Yep, let's go.
To the workshop?
Let's go to the workshop. This is the vapor blaster. Yeah, you can have a go if you want.
What do I do with my hands?
So I've just give this bit a quick hit, and as you can see it's made a big difference with pretty little effort.
Oh my gosh, you've absolutely pulled everything apart, Paul.
Yep.
What happens from here?
Well, yeah, we've got it all apart, so I'll eventually pull the bearings out of this and then take that next door for cleaning and then re-put all the new bearings and everything all the way through the motor. I've got this cylinder here that's going to go next door, obviously same, have vapor blast and then a re-hone to get rid of the glaze and make sure the new piston seals in the bore properly.
Yep.
And the cylinder head, obviously a clean up and a vapor blast as well. And then we turn it over, because we get putting new valves and springs and everything through it, then we need to have a fresh surface here. So we re-cut the seats. So the guys next door will do it in the workshop.
Yeah, awesome. Do this, do that, you do that.
You've taken the coordinator role on quite handsomely here. We've even given you your own little podium and soapbox to get things done.
You're my people.
We're going to pull Jena's crank apart, so we've got a little jig for it, so specially made earlier.
So you're going to press all the pieces out of that?
Press all the pieces out of this one, yep. Alright, so they come apart, and actually the thrust washers are there, and the old rod. Falls apart. They're actually in pretty good nick by the looks of that. You've been keeping your oil changes up, because sometimes they can gall out the little end and all that, so that's pretty good.
But it all looks not too bad.
Yep.
So now what?
Now we push the next half of that out. Same procedure.
I guess you've done like 1,000,001 of these.
Oh, there's been a fair few YZ ones, yes. All right, so that's basically it. We don't wet blast the 4 strokes very much, because you can end up with the little beads inside the oil journals. So we just give it a bit of a clean up, make sure it's all good. And I'll give it a blow.
So did you say we do clean these up, or we don't?
No, we don't. We just give them a good wipe because it's a very clean unit. 4 strokes are pretty good that way. The 2 strokes we tend to wet blast a bit more, like we did with the KX one there, because they do get contaminated a lot worse from the air and fuel mixture that they've got, you know, whereas this is all contained with the inside the engine.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so just give that a bit of a wipe, and then we get the rod kit.
So what are some signs of wear that we would see?
Well, actually, a lot of times with the late model bikes like this, they actually crush the cage.
Oh.
Yeah, and then when you pull it apart, all these little fragments of the cage and the bearings all come out.
Yeah.
But that's if you've had a blow up, whereas yours was still running.
Yeah.
So naturally, you know, it's still in good nick. But you would see some signs of wear in the big end if you looked in there, but it's just about perfect.
Yeah.
So where the cage runs,
what's
that little line is actually where the cage runs.
Yeah.
So the outside of the bearings is what shows that line up. But no, that's very good. You've definitely kept the oil up to it.
Yeah. So did the thrust washers get replaced as well, or will you reuse these ones?
No.
Oh, that's in the kit?
In the kit, yes.
What's that stuff?
That's just a bit of never sees. I just put that on to make sure that we can work the crank once we've got it together, because if they're too tight you can't straighten them. So you put a little bit of never seize on so they don't seize up on the pin. Right. Now the biggest thing with a 4-stroke is you've got to line up your oil gallery with the pin. The pin has a oil gallery as well. It's only by eyesight, there's no rocket science involved. Beautiful. That's it. Just check to make sure all the bearings are in place. Yep, that's all good. New thrust washer. Give it a bit of a turn, everything's great. And we just use that just to get a little bit of, make sure that we're pretty close before we start. Don't push it all the way together first before we start to true it a little bit. And that way we can do it a bit easier.
So when you true it, you're trying to make sure everything's balanced and even?
That's right, yep, you got it. It's within about 1 thou now, but we've got to push it together.
Okay, and then
because we're still not home yet. 205, that's exactly 56 mil. So that's what it should be.
All right, Albie, you've taken me over to this machine here now. Can you tell me about this one?
Okay,
You've got my cylinder in there,
it's just a home machine, yeah. I've got the cylinder in there already. I've water blasted the outside of the cylinder to clean it, and now it's prepared, ready to go. Now, the hone stones we've got are a special one for nickel bores, but all they do is deglaze the bore.
Yeah.
Yeah. To remove any material, you need diamond hones. We don't have them, but all we're doing is deglazing it so it's set with a new cross hatch, ready for your new piston and rings.
Yep.
So
okay.
that's basically just a clean up
right.
of the bore. So we need some oil. And, so by honing it, naturally we've cleaned it up to accept the new piston. And if you take a shot in there, it's like brand new.
Just like that?
Just like that, yep. That's given it a brand new crosshatch
Yeah.
without re-nickel or anything like that.
Yep.
And now we'll just give it a wash off and it's ready for, it's easy to prepare for assembly.
All right, so Kenny, you've got the head now on your little contraption here. Can you tell us what you've done over the last little period of time to get to this stage? So you cleaned up the head and then you took it over there and you've
match the ports to just to remove any manufacturing
debris almost.
Basically, it's when they do them, they just machine them and they leave the casting. All I've done is taken the rough casting marks. It blends into the port itself.
Yep. And then you've also checked the valve guides and the valves, like how they're actually sitting, and you've made sure that there's nice even contact.
That's correct.
Using that tool right there.
Yes.
And what's left to do?
Now is just do the exhaust. Because this head was in such good condition, it won't need surfacing. A lot of the time I would surface machine them on the milling machine.
Yeah.
But this is about ready to go back to the to be assembled.